guys, we are back at it. It is super late right now. Make sure this chat box is working. Let's see, I'm gonna type a message on my burner. Anyway, so guys, I was playing basketball after Wednesday service. Usually ends around 9 o'clock. And then my friend KP, he makes content as well. He just blew out his Achilles, which sucks. That happened today. I hope he gets better, man, prayerfully. And then I was just kind of talking, showering, just taking my time, and now it's 2 a.m. Eastern time. Anyways, guys, forget all that. Let me shoot an intro real quick. What's going on, YouTube? Today we are back at it with another video. Today we're going to be reacting to Reddit stories. Guys, I got this idea from a YouTuber named Sarby. He was inspired by someone named Ludwig, who also I am inspired by, but he reacts to Reddit posts. He just came across my feed out, and I haven't watched him for a long time, but I was wanting to react to Reddit posts as well. I already came up with the idea, and watching him do that format, I'm like, yo, this is great. Let's do a Christian version. Let's get to it. Let's read these stories. You know, we're not telling people how to live their lives, but I think this will be an interesting format, guys. Let's give it a try. So the first one up on the screen, this is called AITA, Am I the A-hole? So it's kind of interesting little subreddit. I've never even been on the subreddit, so let's get into it. The first one I clicked on, and wait, how do I go back? Okay, here we go. The first one I clicked on, it says, I'm just going to go down the list. We're going to read a bunch of them. I'm just going to wing it, guys. I don't know how much I should stop it, how much I should interject, but let's just wing it. This is the first one I saw. It says, am I the a-hole for wanting to cook meat in my own house while my vegetarian MIL is staying with us? I am not a Redditor, guys. I don't know what MIL stands for. Oh, no, I just put it together. Mother-in-law. Okay, while my vegetarian mother-in-law is staying with us. All right, bet. Let's read this, guys. My mother-in-law is staying with us for 4 months because I recently had a baby and she came to help out during my recovery. Okay, so this is from the perspective of a lady. Okay, bet. Okay, cool. I'm grateful for that, and it's been very supportive having her here. I don't have anyone else I can depend on. I'm cheap enough not to pay for childcare, and I had to go back to work. She cooks and cleans and takes care of the baby while my husband and I work. Okay, so two-parent household where they're both working. So the mom's helping out. I see this often. She's a strict vegetarian and doesn't eat anything other than vegetarian food. Guys, actually, fun fact about myself. I used to be vegetarian when I was a teenager. It was right when the vegan boom came out. I think it's genuine. I think there's a genuine standpoint to take. With factory farming and things like that, there's really no good reason to eat meat besides comfort. But the thing is, you have to really pay attention to your health. At the time, I was still training. I was doing jujitsu and stuff like that. You know, I actually trained for multiple years, my first few years while I was a vegetarian. I don't think it was optimal because I wasn't like a super health freak and I'm not good at cooking. So I didn't do too well on a vegetarian diet. But hey, guys, don't hate on vegetarians. It's definitely, there's definitely a great overall message to it. You know, there's no reason for animals to be tortured. That's not how God designed us to eat animals. You know, like with chickens and things like that, a lot of times in America we import our chickens from China. Like, it's literally cheaper to send our meat out to China, have it packaged or processed or whatever, and it comes back here. So man, and cows, hey, that's a different conversation, but the cows, they live in manure, their own manure. It goes up to their bellies. They're artificially made pregnant. That means somebody puts their arm in there and makes the cow pregnant every year. So the cow's constantly pregnant, and then they take away the baby right away, like right after the cow births the calf or whatever. They take the baby away and they get it pregnant all year. So the animal industry in general is very messed up. So don't hate on vegetarians. I believe God allowed us to eat meat. That's why I eat meat. I don't care. That's a long separate conversation. Let's get back to it, guys. It says the issue the issue is that I love eating meat, and especially while recovering from childbirth, I want to be able to eat the foods I enjoy. My husband, however, has decided that out of respect for his mom, I cannot cook meat anywhere inside our house. Strange, okay? I don't get it. Because when I was a vegetarian, I was cool when my friends ate it. Because it's your own standards. There's nothing that I can do besides argue with you, which is, you know, I did. When I was atheist, I loved to argue. Anyways, that's very weird. Where was I at? I cannot cook meat anywhere inside the house. He also doesn't want me eating meat from our regular plates and expects me to use disposable paper plates. What? Wait, let me reread that. He doesn't want me eating meat from our regular plates. And what is this? Hold on. Okay, recently our dog got sick, so I bought him an Instant Pot. I ended up making chicken and rice inside it. My husband was extremely upset and told me that I shouldn't even be cooking chicken inside the house. This is insane. Okay, and also we don't know why that the mom doesn't eat meat. She could be for religious purposes if she's a Hindu. There is a perspective of it helping the environment. There's a perspective of it being healthier for you, and there's a perspective of it being a moral standpoint of it is wrong to eat meat. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's already crazy. I already think we all have a pretty easy answer to this. Okay, so anyways, I told my mother-in-law that I don't really understand the distinction because she eats at restaurants, and restaurants obviously don't have separate kitchens and appliances for vegetarian and non-vegetarian food. Great point, okay? This turned into a much bigger argument with my husband. Now my mother-in-law said she plans to stay with us for around 3 months every year going forward to spend time with her grandchildren, which I love. However, I'm starting to feel like a guest in my own home. This is a house that my husband and I own, and I paid for 50% of it. I don't mind accommodating her dietary choices. I am completely fine with her food and being prepared separately, using separate utensils if that's important to her, or making sure her food doesn't come into contact with meat. But being told that I can't cook or eat meat anywhere inside my own home and that I have to use paper plates to eat it feels completely different. Am I the a-hole for thinking my husband is taking his mom's dietary preferences too far and wanting to be able to cook and eat meat in my own house? No, obviously you are not the a-hole. And in fact, I would say your husband is one, because he's imposing himself. Man, this sounds like the situations where the son, right, has a bad relationship with their mom, in the sense of they're being dragged around and they have to do what their mom says. It's called, in psychology, this archetype is called the devouring mother. A psychologist I used to listen to named Jordan Peterson used to talk about this. A lot of the times when people they become like spineless, these men, and they have to do what their mom says. Man, it usually ends up being bad in marital situations. It's very appalling when a person sides with their mom over their own wife. I feel bad for them. Christian take on this. You guys are 1, 2, 1. I already see the heart of, I paid 50% of it. So you and your husband are not moving and operating at the perspective of you guys are 1. I think that's something to be discussed. I believe that's something to be negotiated. And it's illogical so far from what I've seen of meat not being cooked at all. She even said that she's willing to prepare it separately, even give her new utensils. But I mean, if you use soap, there's nothing to it. It's already cleaned off. Like, yeah, you made a good point. How are you gonna go to a restaurant? Let's see what people says. NTA, not the a-hole. I'm assuming for sure it's your house. Okay. Let's see what else people. NTA, your husband and MIRL are crazy for that. Why isn't mother-in-law eating off paper plates if she's the only one with these restrictions? Good point. The bigger problem is that your husband and mother-in-law are making announcements as you don't get a voice. This is exactly what I was saying. This is your home, even if you haven't paid at 50%. All of this should be a discussion between you and your husband, not an announcement that you then have to abide by. Let me turn my mic down a little bit because I want to talk right into it. I don't know how the bass is turning out. I want to make sure this quality is good. This is a good test run as well. We'll see how this goes. Easy. I'm gonna run through these like quickly. If this is like a basically person just wants public validation of some kind. Obviously you're not the a-hole. Next. That one was mid. Alcohol at kids party. This will be a good take for Christians, I believe. Let's read this one, guys. Alcohol at the kids party. My M37. Okay. I'm new to Reddit, guys. I'm not great with keeping up with y'all's lingo, okay? I'm assuming it's saying you're a male and you're 37. My son turned 6 recently, and we hosted a pool party for him. It was from noon to 3. He had friends come over and pizza was eaten and everyone had fun. Right after I hosted a party for all my friends, it was easier just to clean and prep the house once I had prepared for both parties together. Okay, wait, let me reread this. I'm special needs. Okay, hold on. It was from noon to 3. He had friends to come over and pizza was eaten and everyone had fun. Right after I hosted a party for all my friends. I think this guy just types weird. There were coolers of booze at the kids' party stored behind the backyard bar, but it wasn't out and nothing was consumed until the second party crew started showing up. Is it just me or is he typing weird? I might have like dyslexia. Okay, I had a few friends come over about 15 minutes early. A baseball game we all wanted to watch was on, and told them where drinks were to help themselves. Yeah, no, this guy's typing weird. A little before 3. No comma right here. This guy's throwing me off, man. A little before 3, the parents of one of my sons came to pick him up, and they were clearly appalled that there was alcohol. Did they say it was out? I thought you said it was in the cooler. Okay, a baseball game was on. Oh, they were drinks and helped themselves. Okay. So this mom comes over and she's appalled that there's alcohol. She told us that she would never allowed her son to come over with that present, and had assumed it was a dry party since it was a kids' party. I tried explaining that it was a dry party, that we were hosting back-to-back parties, and the first drink was cracked just a few minutes ago. I hadn't consumed anything yet, but she wasn't having any of my explanations, and it got real awkward, and I cordially said goodbye. Am I the a-hole? Okay, so the party was technically not over. You said it was from noon to 3. It was not 3 yet. You told your friends to help themselves. Yeah, I don't know how you guys operate. I don't think that's that big of a deal, you know? Like we were talking about with the vegetarian argument. Just because you have certain values doesn't mean you have to impose that onto other people, right? If somebody's having a couple drinks, that's not affecting you. If somebody's eating meat, that's not affecting you. Your lifestyle choices are your lifestyle choices. But the fact that there's kids involved, what are you gonna do if you take your kids out to Red Lobster, if you take your kids out to Outback Steakhouse and somebody gets one beer, that's not affecting you. So that's cool. What did the people say? NTA, sounds like your kid needs to find friends with chilly parents though. Be friends with who you want. I wouldn't have been mad, but I could see how some parents would be mad. I would have stayed. Yeah, if you care that much, stay. If you're that much of a helicopter parent. I genuinely believe if you know your party and you know how responsible the people are, if it's just like we're having a couple beers and it's nice outside, it's not a big deal. Y'all haven't been around Hispanic people or any culture, you know, like it's pretty normal. But let's talk about this Christian version. I think that's a good format. We go over it. I generally insert my opinions because I also don't want to brand myself as Christian this, Christian that, because I'm a normal human too. Like I don't have to like Christianify every single conversation that I have with my friends who aren't saved, or just in day-to-day life with other people who are saved, right? So I'm gonna just go through it and then give a Christian talk at the end. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll probably post this if the quality turns out good on my YouTube. I want crazier stuff to read. I saw this guy react to a bunch of crazy stuff. These are not crazy at all. Maybe I have to do this for hours and until I find a crazy one to put. Okay, is alcohol okay for Christians? Okay, there's nothing in the Bible that prohibits drinking. Okay, that's one. But for two, you have to understand the context of any alcohol in the Bible is to clean out the water. So a lot of times back in the day, people put wine into the water just a little bit so it would clean it out. I learned this when I read The Alchemist when I was a little kid. I think that was the book. The Alchemist. It's a thing that they did back in the day. You keep a little bit of wine to make sure your water is clean and drinkable. So the Bible talks about drunkenness. I believe that it's everything in moderation, right? If you have a couple beers, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't encourage anybody to drink at all. I think everybody should not drink at all, because here's the thing. You're playing with the devil, man. You're dancing with the devil. If you are the type of person, I'm going to speak for myself. I have an extremely, extremely addictive personality. Like extremely, guys. It's bad. I've had problems with drug addiction in the past. I've had problems with lust. I've had all kinds of problems with my phone, with screen time. You name it. Anything that I can get dopamine from, I turn it to an addiction. So somebody like me, which is honestly most of society now, because we all have dopamine regulation and attention regulation issues. So I don't encourage anybody to drink at all. For myself, I'll actually just go ahead and share. I don't mind. I think this is my first step forward to being real, guys. So the thing about streaming, the thing about content, I want to be a real person, guys. I don't want to just put on smiley face, I'm a happy Christian, yeah, I'm talking about gospel, let's talk about the gospel. I'm gonna point everything to the gospel, don't get me wrong, that's why I'm doing this. But I'm a human too, guys. I live a life where it's just not gospel. It's not realistic for people to be like that. Maybe if you're a missionary and life's devoted to it, but even then, at church we play ping pong with our pastor, we play soccer with our pastors. So I'm gonna take my first step forward, guys. Ready? I sometimes drink alcohol. I do not encourage anybody else to. And I'm not saying that I trust myself in a sense that I have all this discipline. Guys, I actually get sick from drinking alcohol. So I'm half white and half Asian, so I think this has something to do with it. So my tolerance from my white side, I can drink a lot, right? This is from history from my past. I know I can drink a lot. My brother, on the other hand, if he has one drink, he gets the Asian glow. He doesn't drink at all anymore. He's also Christian, even though we have different denominations and beliefs. My brother, back in the day when he would take one sip, his face would get bright red. So he's like that kind of, he got that kind of Asian gene. But for myself, I could just drink a lot. Even though I was skinny, I was like 120 pounds, and I would drink like 10 beers when I was in high school, when I was like a degenerate back in the day. So yeah, like I said, guys, hey, we got another viewer. Guys, when I became an adult, I get sick when I drink more than 3 beers. So I can't even enjoy getting drunk. By the time I get a buzz going and for a second and third beer and it's enjoyable, I already start to get nauseous. So if I want to get quote unquote drunk and drink 5-6 beers, I will puke. Guaranteed, I will puke, if not multiple times before I reach that state. So drinking is a non-enjoyable thing for me. Let's say, oh, I'm somehow convinced to go to somewhere and drink. I wouldn't even want to. I would have another drug of choice if I was to follow my flesh. But I don't believe we should follow our flesh. I believe we should be of the Spirit, guys. The Bible does not encourage drunkenness. It says to be clear and sober-minded. So having 2 beers is you're going to be clear and sober-minded. You're just slightly altered. But it's dangerous for most people. So for that reason, I don't encourage anybody drink at all. But remember, whether you do or not is not going to determine whether you go to hell. What determines whether you go to heaven or hell is if you believe in Jesus Christ, that he paid for all of your sin. So anyways, guys, this is the format. I'm going to go through it, give my opinion, and then at the very end, I'm going to give a mini Christian take and then on to the next, because some of these are not that deep. It's like a very clear thing where am I the a-hole or not. I like this little show we got going on. Instead of doing amigos, I might do this more. This is fun as heck. Okay, 6,700 upvotes. Next, am I the a-hole for leaving my friend at a concert after she disappeared with a guy? Okay, I already have an answer, but let's keep reading. My friend, 19 female, and I, 18 female. Okay, so 2 young girls. Okay, went to a concert together last weekend. It was about an hour from where we live, and we agreed beforehand that we were sticking together and leaving together. Halfway through the concert, she started talking to this guy near us. I didn't really care and was doing my own thing, but eventually I realized they were both gone. I texted her asking where she was. Nothing. Called her twice. Nothing. Okay, that's annoying already. Honestly, if you go somewhere with a friend and you plan to be there the whole time with them and stick together, and they're not sticking with you, I think we got an obvious answer, but let's keep reading. After like 20 minutes, she finally texted me saying she was outside with him and to stop worrying about her. I asked if she was coming back because the concert was almost over. She said, IDK probably. So she's super nonchalant. It's kind of annoying. Anyways, concert ends. Still no sign of her. I called her again and she declined it. I waited around for almost 45 minutes whilst everybody was leaving. Man, I have dyslexia. I totally read that wrong. I texted her one last time saying I was leaving in 10 minutes if she didn't come back. Nothing. So I left. Guys, these am I the a-hole things are like people who just want to vent about somebody they don't like. Like, this is obvious, okay? About 30 minutes of my drive home, she started blowing up my phone asking where I was. Wait, actually, now I think about it, did you guys drive together? If you guys drove together, that's actually messed up. Because you waited for 45 minutes? You waited for 45 minutes, and then you said you were waiting for 10 minutes. So you waited about an hour. Yeah, let's keep reading, guys. I would have assumed, too, that she's spending the night with this dude. Anyways, that's messed up, too, without messaging you at all. Okay, about 30 minutes into my drive home, she started blowing up my phone asking where I was. So this is an hour and a half later. You left your friend for an hour and a half, all right? Apparently, the guy had left and she came back to where we were parked, expecting me to still be there. She ended up having to call her mom to come get her. Now she's furious because we specifically agreed we wouldn't leave each other, especially being that far from home. Yeah, okay. I told her that the agreement goes both ways. I'm not standing in an empty concert parking lot, and definitely because she disappeared with some guy and kept ignoring me. She says I should have never left without physically knowing she had a safe way home. Fair point. I do feel bad that her mom had to drive an hour to get her, and I know girls are supposed to look out for each other in situations like that. But I also gave her multiple chances to come back. Am I the a-hole? Okay, before I read this edit, I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents. that is a good point about safety, because there are two young females. From the perspective of a guy, if my friend just dips out on me and he's with a girl, I'm leaving him, bro. I'm leaving him. I even have friends now that I still will hang out with, and we might end up in a scenario like this. I have a friend who he lives in Texas. Shout out to my boy. I could see that happening if we hung out. Yeah, I would leave his ass. Should I swear? See, that's another thing. Oh no, he said a bad word. What are we doing here, guys? A lot of Christians act like that. You know, we shouldn't swear though. We shouldn't. Don't get me wrong. You shouldn't swear, really. But things happen. Sometimes it emphasizes language. Sometimes, you know, it gets the best of us. Hey, it is what it is. But these are girls, so safety is an important part. Now I'm thinking about it. That is a little bit messed up, but making your friend wait for an hour, especially when you planned it, not knowing if she had a ride home or not, I don't know their character, you know? If your friend is the type of person to sleep around before marriage, I mean, they're pretty young too. If she's already known to be like that, you guys do that kind of thing, because a lot of the times these college girls, by the time they're early 20s, they've already had double-digit body count. That's a normal thing. Guys, I'm not stupid. I've been around. Let's be real. I'm gonna be real. Like I said, I keep saying it. I'm gonna be real. I remind myself of this one meme.
You can cancel me for that. I don't care. It's just my opinion. Go ahead and cancel me.
Yo, Turtle, shut the up.
Anyways, cancel me. Go ahead, cancel me. Anyways, if you guys know who that is, you know ball. But anyways, that's cringe. I'm too old to be saying that though. I'm definitely too old to be saying that. But guys, just in general, college girls, even sometimes in high school, they approach double-digit body counts, because let's say you had 2 boyfriends in high school. You slept with them. You sleep with somebody every few months, maybe like every 3-4 months, so 2-3 times a year. By the time you finish your bachelor's degree and you're done, you're 22, as young as heck. You're in double-digit body counts, because let's do the math. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 2, the boyfriends in high school, is 10. That's like a super normal life for a girl now in college. You already slept with 10 people. And guys, when you sleep around, it destroys you, guys. It destroys you. I believe we are made a new creature through Christ when we put our faith in him. But the reality is, guys, if you back in the day had a drug problem and your sinus is freaking destroyed and your nose isn't working properly, you can't undo that. The damage is done. It's kind of similar. If you sleep around a lot, it destroys your ability to connect with other people. And it goes the same way with guys, you know. Even though it is definitely more debilitating for females, because of the fact that they're meant to, the female body is designed to carry children. Let's just say a hypothetical scenario way back in the ancient civilization. 2 people, male and female, come across. They're not married. They're in a society where you can do what you want. Boom, boom. They have baby. Male says, okay, I'm gonna go to the next village over here. Gone forever. Female is stuck with this baby. The male is not affected. He can just leave. You know, we're only affected because of the law. But in a biological sense, it is not natural for a female to sleep around. It is completely against our biology. And when you do this, it destroys yourself. It destroys a little piece of you. And the same thing goes if you're a man. It definitely does, because you numb yourself. It becomes a game. And, you know, the more you engage in this hookup culture, the more that this behavior is normalized to you, and the more you objectify women. And the reality is, guys, it's called the Pareto distribution. 80% of the people tend to do the majority, or 20% of people tend to do the majority of the work across any domain. In a corporate setting, 20% of the workers are doing the majority of the work, while 80% are just barely going by. And the same thing happens with reproduction. If you guys didn't know, about 20% of males do more reproductive acts than 80% of the population, even though it should be 50-50, right? If it were really a monogamous society. But now we're not, because of the fact we're not a Christian country anymore. We're in a country where, oh, you can do what you want as long as it doesn't bother me. That's the perspective of even conservative people. Now I hear so many conservative people talk about LGBTQ relationships, and I'm not stating my opinion on it. I'm just saying I hear people say this, that, oh, they can do what they want as long as it doesn't affect me. Like, where do we draw the line though? So even with monogamy, right, if you are in a society where you can do what you want, people end up following their flesh, because not everybody's born believing in God. So anyways, what was my point? Let me get back. Okay, so a small percentage of the population is sleeping around with the majority of women. If you look at the studies on dating apps, the average woman on dating apps think the average guy is unattractive. So it's like it's a sloped curve. So these women, what they think is average is, I forgot what range it was 60 to 70%. So it was only slight. But anyways, in terms of actual dating, yeah, about 20% of the people were doing the majority of the work. I'll just speak for myself. I'm a skinny guy, but I was even skinnier. I didn't have a lot going on for my life. I was a drug addict. Like I said, I didn't make smart decisions. And earlier on in my life, I didn't have that many options available to me, right? This is before I was saved. And, I had made my fair share of mistakes. I had slipped around in my past, but it wasn't to a severe amount. But honestly, around the time I got saved and locked in on my discipline, that these options started becoming available to me, where it was like, if I wanted to be a part of this small population, I can see how without God, you can just go crazy and just engage with the flesh. Because why not? Oh, it doesn't hurt anybody. Hey man, it's not too bad if you just, while you're waiting for the one, you just sleep with a few girls and here and there. And then when you find the one, then you can get monogamous. I even hear that from people who are not Christian, right? People who are not Christian want to be monogamous too. Everybody wants affection from one partner. Everybody wants to get married, generally speaking. So then they take this stance where, they sleep around here and there. And then by the time they know it, if it takes you 5 years to get married and you do this every other month, you've slept with 30 to 40 people in just a few year span. If you sleep with one girl every other month, say, so 6 times 5, that's 30. If you sleep with a girl every 2 months, if you go to the bar every day and you're trying to talk to girls, you're going on dating apps and you sleep with a girl every 2 months, that's a small amount too, to compare to what it could be if you're really trying to and you're that desperate as a guy. Anyways, guys, my point is, if you sleep around as a guy too, it will destroy you, because now once you have 30, 40, because it's worse with guys, they want to keep going. Guys are more able to indulge. So both ways, male and female, it can destroy you, man. It can destroy you, even as if you sleep with just 2 people and you can get this crazy attachment to them, and then that goes into your next relationship, and you're comparing them and you're comparing these things. It's called, what is it called? Retroactive jealousy. And then now you guys are concerned of this person had a better experience with this person, right? This is why God wants us to be in a monogamous relationship. That's what I personally believe. Wow, I went so far off. I just looked at the screen and I realized I went so far off topic. Rewind, guys. Is she the a-hole for leaving her friend? I'm interested to see what the comments say. Not the a-hole. She ditched you and ignored you. She FAFO'd. F around and found out? I don't know Reddit lingo, y'all. Yeah, she was being annoying, not responding. Advertisement, did not want to click on that. Classic FAO NTA. Bro, what are these people talking about? What does what does that even mean? Okay, my bad. I'm slow. The detective already figured it out. Classic F around and find out, not the a-hole. Okay, not the a-hole. She has 0 consideration for you and your time. Why did she expect you to have it for hers? Fair point. Not the a-hole. You did your due diligence and established that she was safe. She's the a-hole for not considering how worried you might be for her when she disappeared. True. Not communicating. Okay, I want to see something where it's like 50-50. None of these are 50-50. Let's see the edit. After reading your comments, I definitely agree that I should have called security or done more to make sure she was actually safe. I was frustrated and upset in the moment because this shouldn't have even been a problem in the first place. We specifically agreed to stay together because she's known to do things like this. Okay, she's known to do things like this. And then she did exactly what I was worried she would do. And everyone's saying I should have called her mom. I couldn't. She had already been living on her own when I met her a year and a half ago. I never met her parents and never spoken to them. Definitely don't have their phone numbers. So she was not even 18 when she's moving out, okay? And she's known to do this. Okay, that's answering. The questions are answering themselves. She's the type of person to do this. Guys, let's go to an interesting one, please. Let's just get one interesting one. I want to have one where I'm like, I don't know. Nah, and all of these are easy. Am I the a-hole for taking my office treats home? That sounds interesting. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mom's boyfriend use my Nintendo Switch? That sounds stupid. Am I the a-hole for being snippy with my fiance? I've been a homeowner for 5 years. These are the biggest. That's an ad. I'm slow. Am I the a-hole for voicing disappointment when I only received gifts for my unborn baby on my 30th birthday? Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she has to track her own school response? These sound like common sense. Let's go with that bakery one. That sounded kind of fun. No. Let's do the Nintendo Switch one. This is gonna be the last one. This sounds kind of funny. What kind of locked? Guys. Okay, let's do the bakery one and call it a day. Am I an a-hole for taking my office treats home? I have worked at the same office for 6+ years and I am not a baker at all. But I do have one good staple recipe that I am kind of known for. A completely homemade huckleberry pie. What is huckleberry pie? I know Huckleberry Finn. Are you guys old enough to even know what that is? Because I barely am. I've never had huckleberry pie. Okay, interesting. For those who don't know, huckleberries are kind of similar to blueberries, but they're only grown in high mountains areas in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. Okay, interesting. They're a hot commodity and go for hundreds of dollars if you were to buy some them from someone. So So my family and I go picking every summer, and I come home and make these pies, and we always bring one into the office, and there's usually quite a bit left over that I'll put in the fridge and let people eat it throughout the week. Here comes the issue. A new person started a few months ago, and since they have been working, any prior office goodies that had previously just stayed at the office and been eaten until they were gone have suddenly started disappearing instantly. If somebody brought in cookies, they would last 2 to 3 days, and I could expect to have an afternoon treat. Should I start highlighting them? Guys, let me know if you want me to highlight them. The day after they were brought in, come to find out this guy has 9 kids and assumes that anything left over he can take home to his kids. I don't like highlighting it. Actually, it might not be bad. Sure, it's fine. Kids are getting a little treat, but it's been annoying when these are office treats and he just assumes they're all for free. So this has been happening for a few months now, and he didn't know I was making it's too much work to highlight them. He didn't know I made these pies, but it has been a horrible fire season where I usually pick. That's cool that you pick your own berries. That's actually really cool. Anyways, there's hardly any berries, so I didn't pick as much as I usually would, and there was only enough for one pie at my office and my home. Knowing that this guy essentially steals all the food from home, I headed into the break room right before he usually leaves and started to pack up and take home. He came in and said, "Oh, did somebody want your leftovers?" And I said, "Oh no, I wanted the last bit for myself and my husband." He got a little defensive and was like, "My kids have never had huckleberries, and I wanted them to give them that experience." I just said, "Well, maybe next year you guys can pick them as a family," and walked away. There's literally 2 slices left. And if he took them to his millions of kids, they could have had maybe a bite each. My coworker said it was kind of rude of me to take that experience away from his kids, and he's kind of been short with me since. But honestly, I don't think I'm in the wrong, because office treats aren't meant to feed your family. Maybe I'm just bitter, but I didn't cook it for your kids. Why are these so common sense? Of course you're not the a-hole. What are his kids gonna do? A little Squidward bite? Squidward bite. Huckleberry. Yeah, that's very interesting flavor. Nah, guys, he's not doing that. He's eating them by himself. 2 slices, he's eating them by himself. Come on. Kidding me? That does not sound like he's sharing it with his family. Edit, and I'm immigrant on my pie link, so okay. Let's look. I'm assuming this is safe. Oh, this looks nice. Cool. Are you the a-hole for bringing this home? Nah, man, that guy sounds annoying as heck. It would be like a different conversation if he started this Reddit post and was like, am I the a-hole for taking home food because I have 9 kids? You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to anything unless somebody specifically says, hey, take these home to your, if there's none left, you should take them home with your kids. Nah, especially if there's already a culture of like, they're there for a few days, people eat them, people enjoy them. You brought it for your coworkers, not for him. When are we gonna get something interesting? Easiest NTA ever. These are all the easiest NTA evers. Office treats are for coworkers. The treats were meant for the coworkers. Someone want your leftovers? NTA. Bro. Guys, this was actually pretty fun. I'm gonna call it quits right here. I talked about a lot of deep things like alcohol, sex before marriage. I don't know what else, but hypergamy, but the Pareto distribution, the devouring mother complex. We talked about a lot of different interesting things today, and I actually like that. Let's do more of this, man. I'll still do the Omegos, but man, this was fun, and I can share more of like myself, and like maybe I'll even tell stories and do more story times. That's something I'm gonna do actually. I'm gonna do story times in these segments. This is fun. Yo, this is fun. I need to find a new subreddit or plan out things to react to. There's gonna be so much more coming, guys. I am so excited to do these. That was really fun. I actually had a lot of fun. It's freaking about to be 3 a.m. here. Oh my goodness. I want to go to Taco Bell or something, but I think most Taco Bells close. I have a feeling that we're gonna get a good rhythm going. Anyways, let's close it out. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Let's do a quick prayer before we get going. Keep this gospel centered. And yeah, Father God, thank you for allowing us to have grace to be alive, Father, to breathe fresh air and to interact with one another. Father, I don't know if anybody really tuned in, but what I do know, Father, is that you gave us grace. You gave us a heart to preach, a heart to get to know you, Father. Let the word sink deep into anybody watching. Let anybody be encouraged to be themselves, Father, to know their identity and to be authentic. Father, a lot of times we pray and we try to act and put our best face on, even with you, but Father, you know our heart deep down. We can't fake it to you. We can't make our prayer sound good, because you know our heart deep down, Father. Let us learn to be real. That is what I pray for today, Father, to live a spiritual life that is not just gratifying my flesh and doing what I want, Father, but instead living for you. I thank you, Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys like this format. If you want to see more, subscribe, leave a comment about how much you like this, because if you do, then I get to know that you guys want to see more. So I'll do that. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Peace.